Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People's Show. Check the Pulse of Nebraska Nation. Brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. Nebraska did something last Saturday. They got me excited, got a few fans excited. Not necessarily, how good they are or not on the field, but it's what they did schematically. They ran the read option. For the love of all that's holy, they're running the read option, and they even turned it into the read triple option. So I got a lot of questions from fans. Adam, and I've actually gotten this question over the years, but it picked up a little bit after the Fordham game, and we read that read option again and the read triple option. Adam, how does the option exactly work? Now, what I have drawn up here is kind of the old school Coach Tom Osborne option and how he ran it. Now, to be very, very clear, I'm trying to keep this video somewhat short because there's literally 42,984,000,000,000 different ways to run the option. Exactly. It's just science. Okay. Just as a quick example. All right. Coach Osborne had been running the option for like 2+ decades. And then in the late 90s versus Colorado, he saw something in their defense. And he drew up a new way to block the option. And he said, and he even told Amon, he said, first play of the game is going to go for a touchdown versus Colorado. Sure enough, they call the play. They block it the way Coach Osborne drew it up. Pitch to Amon Green. Touchdown. Okay, 60-yard touchdown to Amon Green. My point is there's so many different ways to run the same exact play with different blocking schemes, different motions, different alignments. I'm going to kind of try to go over the most general ways to do it for the sake of just trying to keep the most common ways to do it for the sake of trying to keep this video short. Now, for those who are like, oh my God, you're living in the 90s, Adam. First and foremost, if we did more now, what we used to do in the 90s, because that's not what we do anymore. Okay, every time we get away from our philosophy of the 90s, which was run the ball, punch you in the mouth, and play great defense, we're not as successful. Okay, so to me, if we actually had that same philosophy that we used to have, just a modern day version of it, I'm cool with that, we'd actually have more success. So it's not that we're living in the 90s, it's that we've gotten away from the mentality and the reason that we had success for so long. And we need to get back to that run the ball first, play great defense, and be extremely disciplined mentality. That's why I'm starting off with this. And so one of my favorite games of all time, okay, is the 95 Orange Bowl versus Miami. So this is how Miami's defense lined up. Okay, they were an over defense. So to them, this would be strong right. That's why this end is wide. He's to the strength called the offense's left. This is called a wide 9 technique. Now, to be clear, the defense can do a million different things. They can put him head up the tight end, which is a 6. They can put him in the gap, which is a 5, bump the backer out. Okay, there's a million different ways to do this. They can go even, which is head up. They can go odd. They can go a million different ways. Under, which is the end here, the tackle here, and this end wide. This is what Miami did. Okay, with Warren Sapp, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Ray Lewis, and all those guys. Okay, and so if you want to run it to the left, let's just say you're zone blocking, fairly common blocking scheme. You're going to zone block this to the left. So we're going to the left with zone blocking scheme. So a generic rule for zone blocking is head up to play side. Well, side of the play is to the left. So if you're to the right, I don't care about you. It's if you head up me or to the side of the play to the left, I'm going to block you. So this tight end, and I'm not going to draw a bunch of black lines because then I got to erase it and redraw it. But this tight end would take the end. He's play side. He's to the left. Plays to the left. He would take him. Now, he could bang and go second level. I have a feeling he'd probably just go straight second level. He would take him, centered, get the backer. He'd get the tackle. He'd get the backer. And this tight end would get that defensive end. Okay, that's a generic way to run it. Now, the first thing you want to do, actually, when you're running the options, you want to look for the bubble. You want to look for the bubble in the defense. The bubble is basically where there's a space between two defensive linemen. So there's a bubble here in this A gap. A, B, C, D gap. A, B, C, D. Okay, there's a bubble here in this A gap. Okay, and there's a bubble here in this B gap, right here. Now, there's also a bubble here in this C gap. Again, based on where they put that in, the bubble could be somewhere else. But this is how Miami did it, okay? So this C gap's a little too wide because if you're going to try to give it to the fullback or make a triple option, make your first read the fullback, that's a little too wide. So you're going to go in the A gap, you're going to go in the B gap. So we already talked about how they block this maybe zone blocking scheme-wise with the play to the left. Now, you could go here to the A, you could go here to the B if you want to go to the right. Now, there's different ways to block different plays. And I want to talk about this play real quick. And it's not exactly an option play, but it's Corey Schlesinger, okay, scored the game-winning touchdown on this play. And as a former defensive lineman, I hated this play. It's called a trap. They're literally trapping you because you're told by your D-line coach, play after play after play, get up, penetrate, get off the ball. And Warren Sapp was great at this. So they used his strength to turn it into a big weakness. Okay, so this isn't really an option play, but it's just an example of how many different ways you can block a play. So the trap, so this D lineman, this is Warren Sapp. Okay, he's to the strength. Okay, the strength calls to the right for the defense, offensive left. Boom, he's penetrating. This offensive lineman is going to act like he's pass blocking and go straight second level. Suck him up, upfield, and this guard's going to come over and kick him out. And what that creates is a big hole. Now, you hand it to the fullback, boom. This backer's getting hit. He's getting the ear hold. He's climbing second level, this tight end, boom, you got a hole. And that's how Corey Schlesinger scored the game-winning touchdown, the 95 Orange Bowl. Again, not an option play, but just one of my favorite plays of all time. Well, when I wasn't on defense, because I hated it as a defensive lineman, because it's literally like they're trapping you because they're using what you're supposed to do against you, which is getting off the ball with great penetration. Greatly designed play by offensive coaches. Now, if you want to go, okay, to the right, again, there's different ways to block, and you do what we call an X block. I don't know what old linemen call it, but you call it an X block. Boom. He blocks down. He comes over here and blocks. It creates an X. You can make it an ISO play. The fullback lead blocks here, and now you got Amon Green, okay, maybe on a strong safety, maybe on a corner, maybe on a free safety who's got to get downhill. Okay, so that's an example of an X block. But let's get back to the option. Okay, I won't spend all day on all these million different blocking schemes that you can do. Let's get back to the basic option play here. Okay, this is why I don't want to keep redrawing lines over and over. Quarterback, fullback, running back. You got tackle and backer. Okay, now right now, the corner is kind of the eighth man in the box. Most of the time you try to bring the strong safety down, depending on how much success you're having. Okay, if you're having success throwing the ball, they're going to keep the safeties deep, which opens up the running lanes. If you're having success running the ball, they're going to bring the safety into the box, which opens up the passing, which is why you try to remain balanced. But let's say, however you want to block it, the general rule is you're reading the end and the option. Okay, so let's say this tackle's going here. Let's say he's going here. Let's say he's banging and climbing second level, however you want to do it. So this defensive end's being set free. Now, the quarterback's going to turn. It's called the mesh point. He's going to hold the ball here in the fullback's belly. He's either going to give it or keep it based on what this end does. If this end goes upfield, he's going to give it to the fullback for a good 4 to 5 yards. Maybe more. Joel Makovica running over half the Akron defense might get you more. Now, if the end, conversely, because you're setting him free, you're reading him, comes down, now the fullback is here, but now the quarterback's going to keep it. And now you got your option. Now you got Tommy Frazier. Now you got him on Green. Okay, and they're going to read whoever the first edge defender is that they see. If this corner beats the block, if the strong safety comes down, now you're either going to keep it or you're going to pitch it based on what this edge defender does. Does he come at the quarterback? Does he take the pitch man? So that's kind of the old school option. General way of running it. Again, for the sake of trying to keep this video somewhat reasonably length. So let's go to the modern day spread read option. Okay? So the center is the square. All right? So the Y was the tight end. He's trying to spread the defense out. He's now a wide receiver. Corner's got to spread out. The quarterback goes in gun, as we know. Okay, the running back's going to be offset one way or the other. Let's say he's offset to the quarterback's right. Let me finish drawing this defense. Backer. And the fullback, God, I miss the fullback. Without the fullback, you can put him as a wide receiver. You can put him here, okay, which makes the strong safety come down and cover him. You can put him over here. You can put 3 receivers to one side. You can do trips. You can do all sorts of different things. Let's just say for simplistic sake, you just put him on the right. Okay, now, if you're not running the ball well, strong safety won't come down. Maybe the backer bumps. Now you can see they're short a guy. There's a gap wide open here. Ends got here, tackles guy. If they're not running the ball well, they don't care. That's why you have to be able to run the ball. It opens up the passing game. Let's say you're running the ball well. Strong safety's got to come down and cover. Okay? And again, it depends on what defense they're running. If they're running a two deep zone, a cover 3, for the sake of this video, let's say they're running single high man-to-man. So everybody's man-to-man across the board. Backer, I drew linebacker, be strong safety. He's got the receiver, corner got the receiver, free safeties in the middle of the field. So he's deep in the middle. Everybody else is man-to-man, which opens up, by the way, one-on-one outside. Again, running the ball and being successful is imperative to having success in college football. All right. It's something Nebraska's got to start doing better. Again, there's a million different ways to block. We already talked about some. We'll let it go. There's zone blocking. You can pull this tackle. He's an extra blocker. This, however you want to do it. You're setting the end free, just like you were before. Now, this running back per se becomes the fullback in your previous read. If the end goes upfield, you're going to give it to the running back. Okay, and the quarterback's going to carry out his fake. Now, if the end comes hard flat, because again, you're not blocking him, whether it's zone blocking to the left, he's to the right, so the tackle would let him go, or you can pull the tackle as an extra offensive lineman to the left. If he goes down, the quarterback's now going to keep it. And now you got one of your best athletes in space. You can, for simplistic sake, you can block this a million different ways. Let's just say they're blocking man-to-man. You got the quarterback in space. Free safety's got to make a play or they got to beat a block. Okay, one of the other things you can do, and I've never actually seen Nebraska do this, but if you watch the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson, they do this a lot. They'll put a receiver in motion. Okay, so let's say the strong safety comes over. Let me erase some of this so it looks a little bit clearer. You can put a receiver in motion and use him as an extra blocker. Okay, so if he comes in motion, now he's an extra blocker. Strong safety can travel, free safety can bump down, linebacker can bump out, however they want to do it. You got an extra blocker, you got the same read. Okay, let's say the tackle pulls. The end now comes down, so you don't give it to the running back, you keep it. Now the quarterback's in space with an extra blocker. Now they will have bumped or adjusted somebody over there, but they better do it fast. Because if they don't, you got an extra blocker and one of your best athletes in space. What Nebraska did, and what they chose to do, is they chose to turn it into a triple option. All right? So this was Samori Toure, who actually scored on this. So they actually sent him in motion behind instead of in front. They made the read. Okay, the end went down in the game. They kept it. Now, you've got Adrian Martinez, Samori Toure, and however they choose. Let's say the strong safety travels or the backer bumps out, whoever it is. Now he's reading the edge defender. You got the first part of the triple option. The quarterback can keep it, which is part two, or he can pitch it. And that's how the modern day read triple option works. This thing wants to fall on me. I hope that makes sense. It's how it used to be ran old school. And again, there's a million different ways to run it. I tried to just keep it short for this video. This is kind of the modern day spread. Imagine going up tempo, which, my God, can Nebraska do that more often? I thought that's what we were getting. Okay, imagine going up tempo with all this stuff. The defense has to adjust. Safety's got a bump. Linebacker's got a bump. Strong safety's got to travel. Now you got the read. Now he's going down. Now the end just stands there. Now you can hit it. Now he goes flat. Now you keep it. Now you got an extra blocker or you can pitch. It puts him in a conundrum. You just got to be good at what you do. I'd love it if we go fast. Josh Heupel took over at UCF after Scott Frost. He's at Tennessee. Year one, game one. I know it was against Bowling Green, but if you watched it, they went read option, up tempo, and they went up and down the field on Bowling Green. Okay, something we can't say we've done consistently. You look at Chip Kelly. Has a record similar to that of Scott Frost. They're both in year 4. Through year 3 was ugly. Year 4, they're kind of rolling. They're 2-0, and they just beat a top 15 team, SEC, LSU, by double digits. It's time for us to pick it up. I don't know everything, but this can work. If we get back to physical smash mouth football, tough defense, and having an identity on offense. And I think it'd be awesome if we mixed in a little bit of option. Read option, triple option, putting guys in motion as extra blockers, make them decoys, whatever the case may be. Just my thoughts. Hope this makes sense. Let me know your thoughts, your feedback, your comments, concerns. Until next time, Husker Nation, go big red, and always remember, throw the ball. Thanks again to our sponsor, Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's your spine, you do not want to mess around, and experience matters. That's why you can trust the experts at Nebraska Spine Hospital, the region's only spine-specific hospital. They are the best at what they do.